Welcome to the Explainer. If you're a focused learner gearing up to navigate the UK civil service recruitment process, you are in exactly the right place. Today, our core mission is to completely demystify Level 1 civil service success profiles. Specifically, we're doing a deep dive into the behaviors expected for administrative assistant and administrative officer roles, commonly known as AA and AO. We're going to strip away all the confusion and look directly at what assessors actually want to see from you.
But look, before we get into the weeds of the framework, we've got to address the elephant in the room. Do you need to manage a massive team to demonstrate leadership? Honestly, this is the most common myth applicants have about entry-level assessments. People just assume that because the word leadership is on the application, they need to have been a CEO or manage a department of 50 people. Let me give you a spoiler right now. Absolutely not. At Level 1, assessors are not expecting you to lead major programs. They want to see ownership, and we're going to break down exactly what that looks like today.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap. We are taking a clustered approach, looking at unlocking Level 1 behaviors, thinking and deciding, interacting and leading, delivering and growing, and finally, how you are assessed.
Starting with Section 1, Unlocking Level 1 Behaviors and Scaling Expectations for AA and AO roles.
So you're probably familiar with the Success Profiles framework. It's this incredibly flexible system designed to find the right candidate through multiple elements. You see, recruitment is no longer purely competency-based. It includes your experience, strengths, ability, technical skills, and of course, behaviors. Now, not all of these will be relevant to every single job, but when behaviors are assessed, they carry a whole lot of weight.
So what actually is a behavior in this context? Well, the official definition is the actions and activities that people do which result in effective performance in a job. This is a really crucial distinction to make. Behaviors are observable actions. They are not innate personality traits. You aren't born with them, you perform them. A strong AA or AO example can be surprisingly straightforward. What really matters to the assessor is explaining what you personally did, why you did it, and what actual difference it made.
Moving into Section 2, Thinking and Deciding. This covers seeing the big picture, changing and improving, and making decisions.
This specific cluster breaks down into 3 core behaviors: seeing the big picture, changing and improving, and making effective decisions. Let's unpack what these actually mean in practice.
First up, seeing the big picture. Look, at Level 1, you do not need to set the strategy for the government. No one is expecting that. This is purely about understanding your own responsibilities and how your specific work supports your team's wider priorities. It's about knowing exactly why accurate records matter to your department. Then, we have making effective decisions. At the AA or AO level, this is a highly practical act. It means gathering the right information, double-checking the official guidance, and recognizing when an issue actually needs to be bumped up the chain. For example, if a customer asks for something completely outside the normal process, a great decision is consulting the guidance and a colleague before just blurting out an answer.
The third piece of this block is changing and improving. Assessors love to see a simple, straightforward loop here. You review how you work, you suggest simple improvements, and you learn new procedures. Maybe you noticed colleagues were asking the exact same question repeatedly, so you just whipped up a simple template that reduced all those queries. The structure to keep in your head is problem, your idea, what you changed, and the improvement achieved. Honestly, even a tiny, everyday suggestion counts as incredibly strong evidence here.
Section 3, Interacting and Leading. We'll be looking at leadership, communicating, and working together.
So the 3 behaviors making up this cluster are leadership, communicating and influencing, and working together. These center entirely on your day-to-day interpersonal interactions and how you actually support your team environment.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what the civil service is actually asking for. These are excerpts straight from the official Level 1 framework. If you look at the text for leadership and working together, you don't see words like directing a department or managing subordinates. Nope, you see phrases like show enthusiasm, take personal accountability, proactively contribute, and get to know your colleagues. This official text completely anchors our myth-busting from earlier. The expectations are wonderfully grounded in reality. To explicitly redefine this for you, leadership at Level 1 is about taking personal accountability, showing a bit of enthusiasm, and just acting fairly. It's about ownership and positive influence rather than what it says on your job title. Volunteering to coordinate outstanding tasks during a crazy busy period, or stepping up to set a positive example for a colleague who's struggling, that is Level 1 leadership in a nutshell.
Now, for communicating and influencing, the assessors want highly practical day-to-day clarity. It's about choosing the right method, like, hey, does this need an email or should I just pick up the phone? It's about using plain, simple language and dodging all that confusing jargon. It's double-checking your written work for typos, and most importantly, listening and asking questions to make sure everyone is on the same page. Pro tip, don't just tell an assessor I have excellent communication skills. Show them. Give them an example where you carefully explained a confusing process to our frustrated customers step by step.
Section 4, delivering and growing. This encompasses developing self, managing quality, and delivering at pace.
These final 3 behaviors round out the Level 1 profile: developing self and others, managing a quality service, and delivering at pace.
Let's see how this builds the picture of an ideal employee. Starting with managing a quality service, it follows a highly logical sequence. First off, you gain a clear understanding of what the customer actually needs. Second, you act to prevent problems by identifying and reporting issues before they blow up into a crisis. And third, you keep everyone, customers and colleagues, updated on your progress. It's really just about reliability and clear communication driving a solid end product. Finally, let's contrast our last 2 behaviors. Delivering at pace means working with focus and drive to get jobs done on time and to a high standard, while following the relevant policies to organize your work. But you have to balance that with developing self and others. You can't just be a machine working at top speed. You also need to identify gaps in your own skills, take the time to learn, and act on feedback. A killer example here shows that you received feedback, you learned a new skill, you actually changed your behavior, and it led to a measurably better result.
Section 5, how you are assessed. Time to prove your behaviors.
Recruiting managers have a whole toolkit to observe and measure these behaviors. You might be asked to provide written examples right on your application form or CV. You might face a civil service judgment test, which throws hypothetical scenarios your way. Of course, there are formal interviews where you'll give spoken examples, and occasionally you might even encounter role plays or group exercises. The key takeaway here is that while the assessment method might change, the core behaviors they are looking for, those practical, scaled-down Level 1 actions, remain exactly the same.
So, the absolutely crucial point here is summed up perfectly by this quote straight from the framework itself. There is no expectation that all individuals will need to demonstrate every part of each example to be successful. Let that sink in and reassure you. You do not need to memorize every single bullet point and hit them perfectly in one single interview answer. Assessors are looking for an overall demonstration of competence, ownership, and a genuine willingness to do the job well.
We've busted the myths, we've broken down the framework, and we've shown you exactly what assessors are hunting for at the AA and AO levels. It is all about everyday excellence, not executive overhauls. So I'll leave you with this question to chew on. Now that you know the reality of Level 1, what simple, everyday actions will you highlight in your next application? Think about your daily wins, your small improvements, and your reliable customer service, because honestly, that is your winning evidence. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and best of luck putting this into practice.